Welcome back, folks. Today we're doing some little off guns. Things are tough right now. If you're looking for firearms, if you're looking for ammo, not a lot out there. But there's a lot more to this whole hobby, self-defense, being prepared, whatever your reasoning is for owning firearms or watching this channel in general. There's a lot more to it than just the actual guns and ammo. And in case you didn't already catch on, my channel is not really geared toward people who are very experienced. It's more geared toward people who are newer. And one of the things that's really easy to forget in the panic over, can I find the AR I want? Can I find the Glock I want? Can I find the ammo I need? Is that there's a lot more. If you've got the bare basics covered, if you have a rifle or a shotgun, if you have a decent handgun, if you have some ammo, enough that you're not going, well, I don't even have enough for the mags I own and I can't even go to the range at all. If you're past that point, now's a good time to look at other options. Things that you need that maybe aren't so obvious. So I've got a selection of stuff here, and I'm going to kind of start with where I would start if I was new. And the number one, have a med kit. Now, this particular med kit is very much trauma oriented. It is not a personal first aid kit in the sense that it's meant for day-to-day issues. This one is, oh shit. Somebody's going to bleed to death. I am not a medic. I am not an EMT. I am not a paramedic. I have relatively decent training, but nothing specific. No airways training, no IVs or anything like that. So my kit focuses on things that I already know how to use that are for stabilizing somebody long enough for the professionals to get there. Go take CPR classes. Even if you don't have any supplies, basic CPR knowledge is critical. Learning that kind of stuff is a non-firearm skill that is related. It's valuable. So, a kit and the training that goes with it. Basics. A set of gloves. This is a pretty new pair of Mechanics Impacts. And these are the ones where, I don't know if the camera will show this, but the index finger is good for a touch-sensitive screen. So if you're using a phone, a tablet that expects a fingertip or a powered pen, these will work. Belt. This is a Willardus Instructor belt. This is the 5-stitch one. And I gotta say, if you're looking for a belt that you can wear every day, assuming you don't need a dress belt, if you don't need, business, casual, nicer belt, this is a good one. It works for carry. It works for just clipping your phone on your belt if you do that. Very, very sturdy, very tough, comfy. I like it. They're not dirt cheap. They're not super expensive. I think that everybody should have one. Oh, hey, reloading supplies just showed up. 2 days late, FedEx. Something in this genre. They are extremely stiff this way. You can't bend it easily, but it has some give. Oops, easily adjustable to different lengths, and they hold your equipment very well. If you're specifically planning on one for training or for tactical use, emergency gear, that kind of thing, where you're going to want to put pouches on it, get one with a Velcro liner. A lot of the modern pouches that are meant for belts have a Velcro inner on the strap that holds them to the belt. It locks it in place. It keeps it from sliding around. It keeps it from lifting up. That really secures everything in place. Ear protection. Electronic earmuffs are awesome. I don't use them so much for rifle, ironically enough. I use them for pistol. Particularly indoor ranges. Whether you're a guy, girl, child, an appropriate pair of these, awesome. These are Peltors. These are the old 6S Tactical. We're going to get to this. Slings. Now, these are all kind of newish. 2-point or single point convertible. This is a Magpul MS4, but there's a lot of them out there. They are adjustable for length. Okay, so you can have it set for one length, quickly adjust it to another length. And I do it so that on the shorter position, I'm here, okay, or I'm wearing it straight down and it's up, not banging into my legs too badly, but it's not up in my face, right? And then if I extend it and give myself more room, I can go back and forth easily. So you can switch arms relatively easily. That's what I really like about these. 1 points, I think that's a concept that kind of went away for the reason that if you're not actually using the rifle, they suck. Single point slings are great as a weapon retention item, where if you drop it, you're not going to lose it. They can be useful for stabilization, but they're really, the gun flops around. They're better if you have a system which a lot of the sub guns do, or if you have a SBR with a rear mount on the receiver. It'll hang straight down, but it's hanging straight down, basically your center line of your body. Now, think about that one as a guy. How well is that going to work out for you if you have to actually move? So it's not something you really want to let go of ever. You want to put it down gently. You want to, it gives you the ability to have your hands free, but you really don't want to be moving around or working. 2 points are much better for that. I have a homemade single point, quick detach, basic sling. It is length adjustable. I probably have more money in the quick disconnect than the other parts. And if you bought the webbing and rings in bulk, meaning not one sling's worth, probably $3 plus the quick disconnect. So, if you've got 5 rifles you want to make them for, and you just need something on there, certainly you can make two position or a 2-point. They don't. If you want the quick adjust, that's a little more money. I would probably at that point buy one. An MS4 and most of the other slings like it, by the time you add up the hardware on them, you're not saving any money making one. Not really. They really have done a good job. Now, if you want to buy a premium one, now you could save some money making it, but the premium ones usually have some specialized hardware. These, and I was hoping I've got another sling on order. This is a primary arms padded sling. These are about $20. 2-point, but it's 1 quick detach and 1 webbing that you loop through and get on your stock or in the front of the gun, depending on which way your setup goes. Very cheap, very easy option. Relatively easy to use. I'm not sure I would call them ideal, but for the money, they're hard to beat. Now, I've got a Strike Industries sling coming in that is not a whole lot more than this and supposedly has a lot more abilities. We'll see. Primary Arms usually is really good at their price point. But something. Have the ability to let go of the rifle, even if you have to put it down gently, and use your hands. Because we're not combat soldiers. I'm not running a channel for a Marine going to active duty, special operations guys. Like, that is what this channel is. At least not for this level stuff. We're people who are going to maybe need the rifle for self-defense, home defense, hunting, walking around your farm. It's just General use. Holsters. These two, I want to say, approaching 20 years old each. This is a Milt Sparks VersaMax 2, and this is a high ride outside the waistband concealed carry holster from Kirkpatrick Leather. And I don't do anything special. I don't do any special treatments. I just don't abuse them. Good holsters, there's no comparison to cheap holsters. And it isn't just a matter of money. This doesn't cost any more than a good Galco holster. I can't even tell you how much better it is. There are a lot of copies of this. You see this design, you'll see everywhere. There are too many companies that do it anywhere nearly as well as they do. There are a lot of imitations. You owe it to yourself to get a VersaMax 2 and use it. I will say this. If you're carrying inside your waistband, think about how thick the gun is. Shoving a really thick, chunky gun into your waistband isn't nearly as comfy as shoving a 1911 or some other thinner, narrower pistol. It's not about the length. It's about how much it sticks out. As you can see, this is a very thin, kind of flat profile, right? Works great. Find something good. But now's the time. Get on that waiting list. Put in your order. These guys, months. It's months and months and months to get one. Occasionally you can find one used, or a dealer will buy, a small inventory and get them, and then they sell out within a day or two. Magazines. 20 rounders, 30 rounders. If you're that kind of guy or girl, 40s, 60s, 100s. Magazines, when things get bad in terms of availability for stuff, they're one of the items that goes away. They're one of the items that the regulators go after a lot. If you're at a state that can buy them, because I can't buy any of these in this state anymore. These are all grandfathered, they're all papered, but I can't buy more. If you're in a state that still lets you buy them, buy them. Think about how many you think you want. Now, project out how many guns you think you might have that are going to use them, and multiply. So, for example, 30 rounders. If you've got 2 AR-15s right now, have 20 as a starting point. Get 20 of these, and maybe get 20 of these. I'm a big fan of the 20 rounders. More magazines. They wear out. They take abuse. You bang on them in training. These are the kind of things people try to ban. And when they try to ban them, the availability goes poof. Have them beforehand. And right now they're available. They're not super scarce right now. The price hasn't gone through the roof. Do it. Lights. Now this is a little O-light, PL Mini Valkyrie 2, USB charger, magnetic, clips right on my SIG. Nothing special. These are not terribly expensive. Have a light for your pistol. If you've got a pistol that has a rail, have a light for it. I don't even own a holster that light goes on. It can be on the gun when I put it in the holster. But the light sits in my bag. If I need the light, click, we'll flip the lever, done. I've got it. I keep it charged. I've used it as a flashlight. Just, hey, I need some light. Have one. Have one for your rifle. Some people don't want it on the rifle. Some people think it absolutely should be on the rifle. I think it depends on what the rifle's for. But now's the time to buy one. I'm a real fan of buying quality for lights, at least decent. They break. Buy 2. to be honest. Lights are kind of the thing where a switch fails. An internal circuit fails. They're just, for some reason, even the expensive ones tend to not be as tough as you would like. So, now we're into something completely unrelated, sort of. Comms. Now, this is a Yaesu FT70DR. It is, well, D. 2 meter, VHF and UHF radio. It is a ham radio. You have to have a license. You just have to have a tech license, though. Spare battery. Aftermarket antenna. It works significantly better than the stock one. The stock one's not bad on this radio, but this one was definitely an improvement. Have one. Get the license. Go get your tech license. I can't say enough. Even if you don't intend to use it constantly as a regular thing, get the license and play around with the radio. See where you can reach. Hey, can you reach that repeater? Is it programmed in? Do you know how to use it? This is New England, so we just had a storm come through recently. They took power down for some people for as long as a week. Cell towers were out. Internet was out. If you had an emergency, how are you going to tell anybody? Walk out in the street? There's power lines down, sparking and exploding on the transformers. If you live somewhere where you didn't have obvious, help available, these worked. I spent that storm, luckily my power and internet didn't go out, but I spent that storm listening to the local radio net, reporting in problems that were then reported to the local authorities for either medical help, fire crews, just general service, like there's a tree down across X road. Without this, there was no way they were talking to anybody. Now, this is relatively low power. If you think this is going to work without trying it out first, you could be very sorely mistaken. I cannot reach anybody with this from my house. I can listen, cannot reach out. I have a much more powerful rig that I use to talk. Now, if I leave my area, I get out of the bowl that I live in, this works great. But you've got to have it. You've got to have the license. You've got to be using it. You've got to get some practice with it. Just like with firearms, you need practice with a radio. Now, I don't use it a lot. Honestly, listening to a bunch of old guys talk about the weather all the time gets really old. But I use it enough to be familiar with it. It's like listening to anything. The first time you're listening to people talking on it, it's very hard to understand what they're saying. They're using language that is different. They're using acronyms that are different. They're speaking in phrasing that is weird. Use it, get used to it, practice it, make sure it's set up properly. There's things called repeaters that are what you really want to be able to talk to. And with VHF, programming those in is not trivial. If you don't know what you're doing, getting that set up, not the easiest thing in the world. Doing it on a Saturday afternoon when you're bored and you've got all the time in the world to mess with it, because it's pouring down rain like right now and you don't feel like going to the range, absolutely easy, no problem. You got YouTube, you got the manual, you got help files on, from the manufacturer. Sit down, make it happen. You're good. Have a beer, play around on the radio. Finding out that your radio eats batteries when you're using it. Having a spare, having a fast charger, having a USB cord to plug it into a spare battery unit to charge. All good things to know about ahead of time. You learn by doing it. So, hopefully that was helpful. We're going to do more stuff like this. I think there's a lot more to this genre than just the guns and ammo. I think the guns and ammo are the sexy starting point, They're a lot of fun. They're what got most of us interested. But they're kind of this little slice, and there's all this around it that is worth knowing about, is worth having. So I'm going to go get this edited. Take care, have fun, stay safe, y'all. I'm going to go get my package out of the rain because that's reloading supplies. Say hi. Oof. Oof. Oof.